Great shot in our house. Welcome back, everybody. Kristen has been having some challenges recently. We're going to call them challenges.
Yes.
With her 2-year-old son, Kingston. He's not sleeping through the night. So she's enlisted the help of Dr. JJ for advice. What exactly is going on, Kristen?
Yeah, well, a lot. I'm like, which issue should I speak of today? No, really, Kingston hasn't slept through the night ever. And he's 2 years old. I haven't slept through the night in 2 years. And I wanted to talk about this because for moms or dads going through this, it's a very emotional thing. It's a very frustrating thing. At some point along the way, you've probably thought that you're a failure or you totally screwed things up. And so I wanted to talk about it to let people know that you're not alone. You know, I'm going through it. When I talk to moms about it at the park or the library or something, whenever I share my story, it almost gives them permission to share their own. And it's so common, even with professionals, doctors. You know, so I want to talk about this. Kingston has not slept through the night. He wakes up several times a night, up to 5 times a night. I've been up since 3 o'clock this morning. He's asking for Mickey Mouse. He's asking for smoothies. He's asking to read the Bible, which is nice, you know, spiritual. But he's asking all sorts of things.
Well, we have a little clip actually that you recorded
of my baby monitor.
A baby monitor at what hour it was, but
I think it was 2 a.m.
Okay.
It all blends together.
Let's take a listen. We'll get a little idea. It's at 2:30.
I'm home.
2:30. There we go.
Oh, and you know that's not that big of a deal if it happened once, but honestly, like it's shaky because I get up constantly, like again up to 5 times a night.
Is this normal?
You know, it is, and as you inferred with doctors, my son was in bed with us till he was 4 because I worked 16-hour days, came home, he never saw me, and it would be 1 in the morning, and I'd feel this hot breath on the side of my face. And he'd be standing at the side of the bed. Thank you, Max. Standing there just sort of waiting for permission to enter, you know. And I was just I had to get up in 4 hours.
God.
I didn't have it in me to sleep train him because I had to get up in 4 hours. So he got it. There he is.
Aww.
How can you say no to that?
He was sleeping in a cheese box. The box was big enough for him to sleep.
Yeah, he brought
Did that help?
snacks, right?
Was that the secret to getting him to sleep?
No, but that's just who he was. He was just always on. So you are not alone. I mean, I have counseled thousands and thousands of patients about this. And, you know, kids are going through these developmental changes, and their brains are so woken up at night that they've got a lot on their mind going into sleep. So it's very, very common.
So the solution, what are we talking here?
Oh, well, there's lots of solutions.
Because there's lots of issues.
Yeah.
You guys share.
No, there are. Yeah, why don't you
guys
share your
share as
stories?
well in the same sort of, because I know we had.
Yeah, I mean, I read every book under the sun, and I kind of took bits and pieces from different philosophies. We did sleep train. We started about 9 months, but I had a big kid. Like the doctor was like, he doesn't need to eat during the night anymore. He's fine. He's healthy. He's big enough. And so I kind of started weaning him off the night feedings.
Yeah.
And what we did is I'd go in for and rub his back, and then go out for 10 minutes, and then go back in, and then go out for 15. And we probably had 2 nights that he wailed for 2 hours, and I was in the fetal position outside his door, but I didn't go back in. And after that he was okay. But again, like what you said, every time he had kind of a developmental milestone, it might happen again, and you have to kind of continue.
Can I ask you how you dealt with hearing the cry? Because it's
visceral.
Almost, it's worse than your own suffering.
Yeah,
to hear that cry. It really is.
It's giving me chills. It's horrible because you do hear it, and also when they start talking and they say "mommy, mommy," it's horrible. Yeah. So, but I knew that I was doing him a service.
Long term.
Yeah. I feel like I may have. Oh, Dr. JJ, I may have messed up. I didn't let her cry. I did this book called 12 Hours by 12 Weeks, and I just recently found out that Orly did the same thing.
But you didn't
I did
follow
it wrong. Apparently I did it wrong. I only read the first couple chapters.
You're like, I got it down.
But I will tell you what I did.
6 for 6.
Yeah. But she slept through the night, but I kept a routine. I did what you're supposed to do in a routine. But part of my routine was after the bath and after feeding, I would lay with her for 5 minutes in bed. And that 5 minutes turned into a whole night of sleep. And then I'd wake up and my husband said, "What are you doing?" I said, "The baby needs me." And he said, "No, this is for you, not the baby."
I think be honest. One of the things about that book and the whole 5-minute thing, it's funny you're like, well, I did 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It's just not the right 5 minutes. So the sort of the way that this particular book worked is from the very beginning. So I started reading it when I was pregnant, and it says that, right around when they're 8 weeks old or like 9 pounds, I think there's like some sort of threshold to make sure that they're big enough that they can sleep through the night and all that. You start reducing each feeding. So, right, you like attack a feeding in the middle of the night that would then give you the longest stretch of sleep. You start reducing that from like, if you're nursing or whatever, like either 4 minutes or 3 minutes or by ounces until that feeding is gone. And then it's a pacifier. And as far as the crying goes, it was let them cry for 5 minutes. If they stop for even 10 seconds, they're starting to learn how to soothe themselves. Start the clock over at 5 minutes now. Because even for 10 seconds, they figured out how to stop, look around, calm down, and then they start. So now it's 5 minutes again, because I think the part, at least for me, that taught me was that now when he wakes up and I hear him crying, he's not like helpless, like he needs to figure it out. Like we're potty training
give him
now.
a minute.
He needs to figure out how if he peed not to
yeah.
freak out. That's like a lesson he needs to learn.
It's easier to learn as a baby though, because when
100%.
my son has full-on conversations about if he were to go to Mickey's house, what he would do at Mickey's house.
Oh my goodness.
At 2-something in the morning.
But in the same vein, differentiating the two of you, if you start early, you create the structure.
Yep.
For you can communicate and have not necessarily a two-way conversation, but he can certainly understand if you give him what your expectations are. And we'll review that.
I would even say to him, even though he wasn't talking, and be like, "I'm going to be down the hall and I'm not going to come back in." And I would say to him, like, "The kitchen's closed."
Dr. JJ, is there anything, and I want to just get to you too, Audrey, but is there anything you've heard so far that's a no-no?
Not at all, because I think the take-home here is that there's no one recipe for success here. Each parental unit has its own stresses and anxieties about this. Yeah. Each kid has a different temperament, a different developmental trajectory, and so there are lots of solutions, and I like your hybrid one. We have to find the one that's right for our kid, and sometimes it means sampling a lot of these or consulting a professional.
Right, Audrey, did you?
Well, my daughter always woke me up again. I'm hungry. I want this. I want that. And then eventually it was, there's a monster under my bed. There's a monster in the closet. I saw, and it's funny you mentioned Mickey Mouse because she kept having this monster nightmare that Pete the cat was getting her. And I finally,
My son likes
Pete is aggressive.
yeah, she's terrified. But she, what I did was I got one of those spray bottles you get for like 99 cents, and I filled it with water, and I put in either a little bit of lavender oil, or if I didn't have that, just some dried lavender in there, and spray it around her room and tell her this keeps the monsters away.
Yeah.
It's monster spray, and you can spray it if you want, but
that.
Mommy will take care of it for you right before bed. And then after a while, I started telling her, "Oh, don't worry, when you were at daycare, Mommy sprayed your room." And then if she doesn't want it anymore, but once in a while, I will pull it out. I mean, she's almost 7 now, so it doesn't happen as often, but it did happen last week, and I told her I sprayed the whole house because she was worried about monsters.
It's mother of invention.
So Doctor, what is there a final takeaway for us, an overview of it?
I think so. I think you have to have a plan no matter what and stick to it. So if you've got a verbal child, you've got to make sure your kids get their naps during the day. You've got to tell them at dinner time what's going to happen at bedtime, and then you need to stick to your plan no matter how much it hurts, because trust your child. Your child will be successful, but you have to trust yourself that you are going to be successful too. But you got to have a plan, you got to stick to it, and later on we'll film some stuff on Facebook and we'll outline that plan a little bit more for you.